It was a cold mid-December, the days had grown short, menorahs were starting to glow. Throughout the whole city, a spark in the air, Manischewitz beginning to flow. While the taverns were packed on these 4 blocks alone, a dozen new babies were born. Each one of them needing a quick circumcision, but outside it continued to storm. What then could we do? Not what then, but who? He was a mohel, and he swung his blade, the HANUKKAH mohel. Yeah, with skin he was paid. He was a mohel, worked with vigor and might. Need the 8 lights of oil. He worked straight through the night. He worked straight through the night. There was some who believed he was only a tale, an illusion who no one had met. But by the 8th night of Hanukkah, with never a fail, not a foreskin that he could forget. His ways few understood. All they knew was he was good. He was a mohel, lived on latkes and rye. Through the winter he'd toil, but not a baby would cry. No, across the city, he found virtue and fame. That's the HANUKKAH mohel. All we knew of his name. We could never go back to before. There was foreskin all over the floor. We could never go back to before. There was foreskin all over the floor. We could never go back to before. His hands were all covered in gore. We could never go back to before. Every Hanukkah came back for more. He was a mohel, and he swung his blade, the HANUKKAH mohel. Yeah, with skin he was paid. He was our mohel, well endowed and equipped. He was our mohel till the night that he slipped. I was that mohel, I'm embarrassed to say. Just telling the story makes me sick. I had had too much whiskey that particular day, and I sliced clean off the baby's schmechel. It flung through the air, almost hitting the ground, and then, well, almost like a sign, I faintly made out a peculiar sound, a plop as it hit the cup of wine. A schmeckel in a cup, on HANUKKAH no less. A schmeckel in a cup, it was my fault, I must confess. The baby was crying, of course, wouldn't you? I gave the child a piece of gelt to lick. Didn't seem to be dying as I kvetched, what to do? The wine was soaking through the dick. A schmeckel in a cup, cup. It was my fault, I must confess. I checked my calendar. It was still the very first night. So I prayed to God, please help me find a way to make this right. On the very first night. Hey, Schmeckel, gegelvig wagen in a cup. Hashem would make this right. So I reached in my bag for a needle and thread. Through my tears I started to sew. I stitched till my fingers were calloused and red. Did it work? I had no way to know. For 8 nights I waited there over the crib, praying for some kind of sign. And just as the candles were burning real low, the baby